Hi, Ali.
أهلا وسهلا. Hi.
Nice to have you here at
Pleasure
last.
is mine. At last,
At last,
after a few
yeah.
trials.
Yeah.
And
First, I had
setbacks.
corona, then you had corona,
I had COVID.
and then, yeah.
It's the inevitable of us,
Yeah, these
someone
days,
getting it
yeah.
and getting delays.
Yeah, that's the norm these days. Anyway, it was very interesting how I came to know you through Instagram.
Yeah.
Because the two youngsters who are running Instagram for me, they said, okay, let's do something and put up a questionnaire asking people who they want next to be interviewed and all that. And then your name came up a few times.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just that one time.
A few times. And then I said, okay, that's interesting. And it was by people who I trust. Yani I know their mindset and the way they think.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, this is interesting. I have to see this guy. So I started following you. And I said, these are signs. God is giving me signs because I'm looking for a person like that. And I'm interested in that area that you're in. And so I reached out. I said, let's do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, usually what I do is I tell them, share us your story going back to, usually I tell them go back to high school.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to go back to high school or to college? Where do you want to start?
I wouldn't want to go back all the way there then.
Okay.
Because I think as a coach, my journey started in 2013.
Okay. But I want to see where you were.
Okay.
And how you came to the coaching part.
Okay.
Okay? Take us through that.
So where I was, finished school here,
Okay.
went to Montreal. I studied computer science.
Okay. Interesting.
I love your reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually it's always like that. They study something else and then they say, oh, we came out. But okay.
Yeah. So I
Computer
studied computer science.
Your choice?
My choice.
Okay.
I wanted something different. I didn't want to follow the trend of let's do business or economics. And so it was my first 2 years in school. I did programming. I did computer science as an IB major or as an IB course. And then I decided, okay, let me do this as I want to get my bachelor's in computer science because back then, I didn't want to say the year, but back in 2001, this was like the next thing, let's say,
Okay.
programming and designing software and all of that. So I took that path, and it was one of the most beautiful 4 years I've spent in Montreal, Canada. I loved it. My first year, I remember, was a struggle, just like getting a hold of the language of computer science and the classes and all of that. That was a bit of a challenge. But by the fourth year, the first year of university,
Okay. Yeah.
By the fourth year, I managed everything, and I was able to survive, aside from all the different setbacks and challenges. I came back here, and I basically worked in a field that was molded for me. And it was exactly what I wanted.
Which
and it was an IT company.
Okay.
That was outsourced for one of our big corporates here. And it was Gulf Air. So we were basically doing all the computer science, programming, logistics, all of that stuff for them.
Okay.
So I started my journey there. And then eventually I moved towards being a Gulf Air employee and then moved from IT towards the commercial. And that's kind of like how I ended it after I became a coach.
But what do you mean commercial?
So I moved from IT. So I did IT for like 4 years.
Okay.
And then I'm like, okay, this is not for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, what other opportunities can I, seek within the airline? And having it as an airline with a lot of different opportunities, different departments, you can, if there are vacancies and you are qualified,
already there in the
you can,
system, you can
yeah,
move
you can
around.
move as long as you apply and you do the interview and everything. So I did that, and I moved to the commercial department, which is the heart of the airline.
Okay.
It's what brings the money. It's what decides on where to fly and how frequency. So I had to learn
Interesting.
everything from
Yeah.
scratch.
Scratch. Okay.
Because IT was IT. But that moving towards commercial, it was really a new method of understanding how the business is run. And I moved around, like I say, 2 years doing network planning, and then with my last post, which was business development.
Okay.
And it was a very interesting experience because I spent 8 years going over managing different regions and different markets. So it's Asia, it's Europe.
Wow. And you had to travel, of course.
I didn't have to,
No?
no, it required me to basically connect with all our commercial representatives that are in our different networks.
Yeah.
And that's how we maintain what we did as business development, because we are required
Right.
to make sure that they bring in the money, their targets, and all of that. But it's also exposure for how each market is different.
Different. Yeah.
How the local market works differently from the market that you're in. You know, you're in headquarters, you're in Bahrain, but Thailand is different.
Yeah.
You know,
Of course.
Germany is different.
Yeah.
Saudi is different. So it was a different exposure. 2 years in that post.
What year are we talking about now?
So I started business development. So I moved to commercial in 2010.
Okay.
From IT.
Yeah.
And then in 2012, I moved around commercial, where I joined the business development team. So in 2012, and that was a new role as well. But I kind of like already grasped a bit of a background in or experience in what commercial is. And then I started to like look at things elsewhere. I'm like, okay, this is work, but what else can I do?
Ah. Okay. So this is where I
This
want to
is where
get.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. So you're still working. You're at your job, but you are looking for something else.
Yes.
Passion-wise, or just looking for something else?
Just out of curiosity, I was hungry for more.
For
For more.
more. Okay. So what happened?
I did a side project or a side business, but aside from that, what changed for me is how much I was investing in myself. And that opened my eyes to a different world, because university, starting work, and just focusing on that type of security and whatever you're given to do is what I was focusing on.
Right.
But there was another world out there that I was completely unaware of, which is personal growth and development.
Yes.
It's when you start to read, when you start to attend lectures, when you start to be surrounded by people that will help you grow. And there is something called you have a dream. There's something called you have a goal. You have ambitions. You know, it's all of that. So that was a different door.
When did that click? I mean, I'll tell you my story so that you know where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Okay. So I will not go very back. I took a master's degree later in life, and then I finished in 2010. And then I thought, okay, oh, this is it. Oh my God, no more studying. What am I doing? 2 years after that, still nothing is happening. I want something to do, so I go into another master's degree. Halfway through that, I get into my PhD, running it parallel. Now, where I'm getting at is, it was in this chaos that I was in. I wanted to calm my mind, my thoughts, okay? Because so many things was happening outside that it was not helping inside. So I said, no one can help me other than myself. So that's where the journey started for me, going inwards. So what was the click for you?
To start coaching or to
No,
start
because
focusing on inwardly?
because you cannot, the way I saw it, the way I see your the coaching that you do, you cannot do it unless you have started working on yourself first. Then you can help others.
Okay.
So I'm sure you started in first.
Yes. So the started.
Yeah.
I guess when I was looking for something.
Okay.
And as I said, I was exposed to a new business opportunity that was I was doing on the side, and there I got exposed to a lot of inner self work, which I was unfamiliar with.
Okay.
And it just came part of the package of starting this new project.
Okay. So it
Okay.
had to do with the project.
It had
not
to do with
okay.
this business project. And it was just part of, you want to be successful here, start working on yourself.
Okay.
And it was just like one layer at a time,
Right.
one layer at a time. So every year, in order to grow within the business, you need to basically grow within yourself.
Self first. Okay.
So I started peeling off those layers of understanding myself. And it took, so every year I would notice the growth. Every year I would notice the change because it requires a different mindset.
Yeah.
It requires to basically let go of all the different beliefs, let go of all the different, ideologies or whatever it is that we were taught.
Yeah.
And start to look at them based on your own terms. Going against the system, going against what people are telling you.
Yeah.
You need to stand out and really be curious about what it is that is aligned with me. So year after year, I noticed the growth.
And you're still working.
I'm still working.
Okay.
I'm still doing the business
This
project.
one, this
But
is-
as well, I'm also starting to invest in my personal growth and development. So there are things that would come from the project, and then there are things that I would also add on.
Yeah.
Fast forward to from 2013 to 2017.
Okay.
I came across a video. Bob Proctor talking about the laws of attraction. I'm like,
Okay.
this is very
I love
interesting.
it, yeah.
So I started watching the video, and then I started watching more Bob Proctor videos and more Bob Proctor videos until I came across, I was sharing some of what I was learning with a friend.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, there is someone that I know that is coaching through Bob Proctor's, let's say, programs.
But, yeah.
I'm
okay.
like, I want to meet this guy.
Okay. Here in Bahrain, يعني?
Here in
Okay.
Bahrain.
Okay.
So I had a chat with him, and he's like, oh, I'm offering this program. I can be your coach for the next 6 months. I'm like, oh, one of those coaches that pretends to,
Yeah.
show me the way.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? I challenged him.
Okay.
And I'm like, if I'm able to understand how to change my paradigm, which is some of the words that Bob Proctor uses,
No.
which is our subconscious
Yeah,
mind,
yeah.
in order for me to get what I want. And here's money on the table, I'm in.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, why don't you just search YouTube and learn how to... I'm like, I did, but I'm not able to. He's like, yes, because when you want to tap into your subconscious mind, you require a coach to assist you in it. So I did the program with him, 6 months, beautiful experience.
Okay.
And
Bahraini guy?
Bahraini.
Okay.
And after that, that's where this is also like more adding on
Yeah, of
to the
course.
self-development.
Yeah.
And that's where I started to notice the world really changing because of the internal work. So once you apply all of this learning, you see the world changing. I still had my job. I still had my business.
Okay.
And then it's people were like, why don't you become a coach?
Coach,
I'm like,
okay.
no, I have, I don't need to because I have different things that I'm already
Yeah,
focusing
yeah.
on. fast forward a few months after that, when so many different people telling me, become a coach, become a
Yeah.
coach.
But why were they telling you become a coach? What were you doing that made them see that in you?
It's my attitude.
The attitude, or yeah, okay, and the way you
The
talk,
way that I
the
talk,
talk,
my behavior,
okay,
the way that I think,
okay,
creating that kind of safe space for them just to open up. And they liked whatever I shared. So I'm like, okay, why not
right.
try coaching? So I started asking around, if I want to become a coach, what should I look into? Some of the tips that I got was, make sure that whatever academy that you follow, they are ICF certified, which is the
Oh,
International
okay.
Coach Federation, which is
Yeah,
internationally, accredited.
yeah, yeah.
And that's where I started my coaching journey in 2018. I joined a school, an academy based in Sydney, or I think they're in Australia. And it was a 2-year process.
Oh, okay. So you did go through a coaching
Yeah. I went
certificate.
through it while I was working.
Okay.
And what I
2
guess
years.
it took me 2 years.
Yeah. Was it online? Or
It was fully online.
Online, yeah.
So I finished work, and then I would spend hours going over the classes, the labs, whatever training that was required. And then in December 2019, on Christmas 2019, I was at a lecture, and I was listening to the lecturer basically speak, and he was sharing his story. And I was like, I'm not going to wait until I'm his age to realize that I need to pursue my passion. And I just took out a piece of paper, and I still have that piece of paper, and I wrote March 30th or 31st, 2020.
Okay.
I quit.
Oh,
my
I
job.
quit. Okay.
I quit my job,
Job.
and I looked at the person sitting next to me. I'm like, you're going to hold me accountable. Just sign this paper. That was it. And then
Okay.
COVID happened.
Oh, COVID happened. Yeah.
COVID
Yeah.
happened, but I was staying on track on the commitment that I had to myself. That, yes, COVID is happening, and I think this is just a test. I'm going to continue on whatever mission I'm on, and I'm going to resign before that date hits,
Okay.
and I'll build a coaching business from scratch.
But why didn't you think of, okay, I have my job, let me start the coaching and see if it works or not? You see what I mean? I mean, you were taking a risk because no matter what, our market is small.
Yes.
And not everybody, okay, the younger generation is seeing this a lot more than our generation. But then again, it's limited.
It's true.
So quitting your job and starting this, what if it had not
I can always go back.
Okay.
To, like, if I didn't try, I would have never known. But I think what made me realize that I need to pursue this full time, because I was struggling while I was studying. Because I was studying part-time.
Yeah.
And I've noticed the struggle.
Oh, it's yeah.
In my creativity, in my energy, in so many different things. Due to a lot of reasons, which I'd rather not tap into that, dive into that.
I totally understand.
It's a lot of struggle.
Yes.
So that's where I'm like, if not now, when?
When, yeah.
And I guess maybe COVID was a blessing.
It gave us a big break and
Yeah.
sit down and think what's going on.
Exactly.
Why are we running so much after things?
It's true.
Just
Calm down.
calm down. Yeah.
Slow down.
Slow down. See what's
And
going
we
on.
still need to remember to slow down. And,
Yeah.
14 years in corporate, I still need to remind myself that it's okay to have slow days and slow months and slow weeks, because you're so accustomed to a fast-paced way of productivity. So it's a constant reminder.
So what happened? So you quit?
So, I quit. And I was faced with the inevitable of building a business from scratch during COVID.
Yeah.
And,
Did you start online first?
I started online
Yeah.
because 2020, no one was
Yeah.
meeting up. And it was just, how can I do this? I was already accustomed to coaching online because of the school. So the academy already gave us that kind of head start
Yeah.
ahead of
Yeah.
its time.
Yeah.
So I was already, I've practiced coaching
Yeah.
on Zoom.
Yeah.
So Zoom has been my friend since 2000,
Like
even
that.
before
That's
2018.
it. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I guess the challenge for me was, where can I get the one-to-one clients? So that's where I started thinking outside the box and where I developed group coaching.
Oh, you were doing, so you started one-to-one.
I was already doing one-to-one.
Oh, you were doing, okay.
But it was like I didn't have a baseline to start a business on my one-to-one clientele. So that's like, when you're put in a corner and you are, you need to tap into that creativity of what's next. That's where group coaching came into creation.
Okay.
And like, I think if I was still working, I wouldn't be so desperate to pressure myself and think of what's next.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's because I'm not in a not comfortable place. It taps into your creativity and allows you to come up with solutions.
Okay.
And group coaching came into creation. Alhamdulillah.
Okay. Is it okay if we talk about the group coaching?
Of course.
And now what it is and
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
Because again, I've been noticing that on your Instagram that you're having a group coaching coming up, and very interested to know what is it. So what do you do? Is it one-to-one or is it a group or what? Tell us.
So I think let's start with what is coaching.
Okay.
Or what is life coaching? Because a lot of people get that confused with so many different things or really don't understand it. So I would just want to give a quick brief
please.
of what life coaching is. And maybe distinguish that between it and therapy, because people also seem to not have a clear understanding. So therapy, I'm ain't a therapist. That's what's my Instagram handle.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm not a therapist. So therapy is what helps, in short, I'm not doing it justice by explaining it, but in short, it's helping people heal from the past and changing their brain architecture in order to be able to move forward.
This is what you're doing.
This is what therapy is.
Okay.
What coaching is, it helps people overcome with their day-to-day challenges. This is very generic. And the challenges are kind of like walls. And those walls don't allow us to see the future. So we can't see what's next for us. We get stuck.
Okay.
What a coach does helps or assists the clients to deeply think and understand how to break through those walls and maybe give them a little nudge in order to see what's beyond that wall.
Okay.
So the focus is always on the future in order for them to be able to move forward. So coaching is more of a growth, kind of like an upgrade.
Yeah.
So if you think of Mario having that mushroom in order to grow, that's what coaching does. So coaching is all, and there are so many different niches with coaching, but I guess I started my journey in growth and development.
Yeah.
And this is what I do as I mix life coaching with personal growth and development. And it's a journey that I'm still growing and still learning. And that's what I'm continually passing on to my clients. So I do one-to-one coaching, which is specific to what the client wants. And I support them in their goal and what they want to accomplish within the coaching session. And then I have group coaching. Group coaching, I have two different programs. In general, it is structured. It is themed. So each session builds upon the next. And there is a specific goal that each participant would basically set before as we start, and each session would help them build upon that goal.
Okay.
So I have two different programs that I'm running. One is called Ignite Your Mind, which was the first one that I designed, and it's one of the ones that I hold closely to my heart. And Ignite is all about the different tools that helped me grow.
Nice. Yeah.
So each session is different learnings on understanding the mind, changing perspective, emotional intelligence, how all those different tools come together and help people overcome their challenges.
And you do it in as a
group setup. Yeah.
all together.
All together.
Okay.
I'll explain about that even more.
Sure.
The next one is Dare to Be You. Dare to Be You is when I started doing all my readings on Brene Brown, and I'm like,
Oh my, you do
self-worth.
Brene Brown. Oh,
Yeah.
she
Self-worth, wholeheartedness,
Oh, yeah.
vulnerability, shame.
The-
We'd never talk about all those stuff. So I was really inspired by her books. And I'm like, how can I create a group conversation that embodies her learning or her ideologies? And that's what Dare to Be You is. It's based on her material. It's tapping into what is self-worth, or how do we live life wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
We talk about all the things that get in the way and what we need to be able to, speak about in order to overcome them.
Okay.
So it's how to live life wholeheartedly
Yeah.
and what we need to do in order to put that in practice.
Okay.
That's what Dare to Be You is. You dare to be yourself.
Yeah.
Because as we go through life, challenges happen, life happens. We happen, and we stand in our way a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So by understanding this inner narrative, what really gets in the way.
Not being enough.
Not being enough. I am not enough. And that's
yeah.
something that we constantly think of because of the world that we're surrounded in.
Yeah. But I thought it was only us women thinking we're not enough. I didn't know that men also thought we're not enough.
Men don't talk about it.
But they
Men don't talk about it because that's also a different thing. Like with men, it's all about being, shielded from sharing our emotions.
Yeah.
Because if I do, what will people think?
That's weakness. Yeah.
It's a sense of weakness. But the more emotionally in tuned, the better choices you can make. And the better choices, that means that you can live a better life.
Right.
So this is something that I also would want or love to do, is getting more male involved in coaching, because it helps them in their journey. So in group coaching, I only, the maximum number of participants is around 7 individuals that join on the first day and end together at the last day. So it's 7 sessions with 7 people maximum, because I care about the quality.
True.
So the way that it is structured, it's introducing knowledge or content in each session, but also asking thought-provoking questions that are around the knowledge that's being shared. So it's more of a journey that the people would go in together, creating that group dynamic, having that sense of perspective, safe space.
Right.
I'm not saying that people are going to be sharing their darkest secret. That's not going to happen. There is a limit where people are comfortable to share enough for them to learn. And the room is flexible for them. If they want to go a bit more open, they have the flexibility. If they want to, just share highlights.
And do you just stay with one group for that period, or do you have like parallel groups?
I'm able to run in parallel. Like I've had 2 groups run simultaneously.
Okay.
Sometimes I would start with the group, and then halfway through, I would create a different group and have different people to join in. But they don't come together. They're each separately. Yeah.
Okay, tell me something else. You're putting a group together. Do you study them so that you know who's, they apply. They say, oh, I want to register. I want to start this. Don't you think it's a bit sensitive not to at least have them a little bit aligned together? how am I going to say this? Like you don't want different mindsets coming in, different age groups
Yes.
that are too different.
Yeah.
Things like that. Do you look at these things when you put a group together?
Yes, I definitely do. But at the same time, we are in a field of trying to make it work.
Sure.
Because you would still have people within the same age group, but with different mindsets.
Yes. Yeah.
People of different age groups, but they can come together. So I think what's important is, as people are signing up, if I'm not familiar with who is signing up, I would make sure that they understand what they're signing up for.
Okay.
Before they, complete the payment and all of that stuff. That's one thing that I do.
Good. Yeah,
But I guess like every session where I'm being a bit vulnerable right here, but I'm always nervous within the first session because I don't know what the dynamics is going to be. Even though I might know A, B, C, like all those different people, but they don't know each other.
Yes.
Not together.
Not
So I'm
together.
always nervous.
Yeah.
But what I've developed in every program is that the first session is always light. It's a group, it's an icebreaker where they get to meet each other, but they also get to know themselves more and differently. And when you create this ice-breaking momentum, they start to feel comfortable, and they start to see themselves in others. So that's one of the most important things to do within the first session, is to have that sense of dynamic, which loses that sense of tension that I would hold. But I've had very diverse groups. Last year I had a teenager. So I had an age range between a 15-year-old and all the way to a 14-year-old. So I had 15, 20, 30, 40 in one group.
Yeah.
The dynamics was phenomenal.
Okay. Yeah.
So sometimes it works.
Did you have anyone drop in the middle of the thing, or they thought, "Oh, this is can't"? No. Okay.
No.
Nice.
Whoever is committed, they're committed. And what I've noticed about they look forward to, like, if it's Mondays, we have group coaching.
Yeah.
And
it's physical, right? I mean, face to face
yes.
nowadays.
So it started off when I first started. It was online.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And then last year I joined Family Matters Counseling Center, which is in Janabia, and so I'm a coach, and there she's a therapist. So Lamar is a therapist, a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Yeah.
And we have also a team of speech therapists and a mentor for teenagers.
Is that the same one that Anna's in? No?
No.
No. Okay. Somebody else. Okay.
So she gave me a space to run group coaching, and I also have an office for running my one-to-ones. I run my programs there.
Okay.
So when I first started running programs through Family Matters, I was doing it hybrid because it was just 2021 and people are still not comfortable, so I want to give them the flexibility. It is still challenging to get the dynamics. When everyone is 100% online, it's different. Like the dynamics is there, but when hybrid, you have people with you in the space and then people online. So I kept on doing it hybrid, but I'm like, that doesn't work. No. It does work for some, but I've noticed like not 100%.
No, there is a disconnect.
There is a miss of disconnection.
Yeah.
So I was still testing the waters. And then I decided just to do it either fully present in person at the center or online.
Online, okay.
With Omicron, a lot of people were still hesitant.
Yeah.
So I started the year with doing them online, and then the last 2 sessions, I'm like, you guys, khalas, let's just move it to in person.
Okay.
They all started coming in. So out of the 7 sessions, the last 2 were done in person. The last ones that I ran before Ramadan,
Nice.
And they love the dynamic.
Okay.
They're like, we wish we came earlier. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So my next one, hopefully Dare to Be You, once I'm back from my vacation, is going to be fully in person.
Okay. It's in June, right?
In June.
In June, yeah. Okay. What's next for you? I mean, you're doing this now, but are you thinking of other things?
I am thinking of other things, but I'm still in the thinking process.
Okay.
I do have a project that I've been working with two of my friends. I can talk about it. It's for students.
Okay.
And we've noticed a gap in, or I think if we just forward to when we were in high school,
Yeah.
12th grade, there was no one there telling us how to think for ourselves
Tell me about it.
and how to prepare for university, or what is my dream, or what's something that I'm passionate about. So we're kind of co-creating a program that we still haven't named it, but I call it the Student Workshop. Such a generic name, but it's going to be, as we refine it, hopefully, when we are able to advertise more about it, it's all about what you're passionate about, what are your dreams, and how can you, focus on that dream by pursuing what's next for you as you disembark towards university.
Lovely.
And that's kind of like a project that
Yeah.
I've been working on since January, but it's, it's a back and forth refining and here and there. So we're getting there, inshallah. Hopefully we want to launch it in July.
That's really interesting and needed, really
Yeah.
needed. I used to think also, I mean, lately I've been thinking, and I wish there was a class even in school all the way through to 12th grade for students to know what to do with their thoughts.
Exactly.
When these thoughts come up, how to deal with them, the judging part,
Oh, yes.
the culture part, all of that. I wish just one instead of all math and science and all of that,
Yeah.
one thing to go inside and
Exactly.
work on yourself so that when you go out there and hit the world, at least, I know you can't be prepared 100%, but at least if a little bit,
Yeah.
it helps.
Because when I go back to when I started my journey in personal growth, I was 30.
Yeah.
So if I had that before going to Canada, I'm not saying like
You
I
were
didn't
30,
enjoy.
I was 50, 52 when I started my,
It's never late. It's never too late.
No, it's never
But
too
because
late.
we have been through
Yeah.
this journey, and we notice how the kids are already outsmarting us.
Exactly.
We want them to learn in order for them to maximize their potential. It's never too late. Like if someone comes in their 60s, they are willing to learn how to be better versions of themselves. It's never too late to start, even to quit and start something from, because if not now, when?
Yeah.
It's never too late to have a new chapter in your life. And a lot of people don't understand the value of this field of mental health and mental wellness.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Because when you are at a at a stuck part of your life, who can help you? It's us.
Yeah.
The clinical psychologists, the therapists, the coaches. We are. That's why we've. We are professionals in our field because it's for the people.
Yeah. Well done. Well, I'm really happy. I'm so glad you came in and we had this chat. We'll share it. We'll put it out there.
Inshallah.
I hope as many people as they can to listen to this and see what's going on. And all the best.
Thank you, Marjan. It was
Thank
a
you.
great pleasure.
Thank you
And
for
I
coming
loved being here. I
Yeah.
loved sharing my story.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the work that you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Nice.